How's it going so far? You've had a couple days to get your feet wet.
Oh, you know, the thing is, the energy is just phenomenal here. I mean, people are pumped up, and like I've never seen before. Since probably Obama, when Obama ran in 2008. But you know, the question becomes one is how's it being received across America? And I think, based on what I'm hearing back home, it's being received just like it's being received here by the persons that are delegates.
This is not the kind of convention that Democrats thought they were going into just a few months ago.
Absolutely. You know, the fact is that I didn't even know whether or not we were going to have a full house, okay? Because a lot of people were, they weren't as excited about the prospects of being able to win in November, but more people are excited about it. Not only are they excited about winning the presidency, but the impact it's going to have in terms of down ballot. And that's real encouraging.
Maintaining the momentum is the issue here, and of course she has that smaller campaign window to run, which certainly benefits her.
Right.
But how do you do that? She's going to get the post-convention bounce, obviously, because of the enthusiasm and energy around it. But she has another 70 days to run. A debate's coming up. How do you tell her that, or how do you suggest that she and her campaign navigate that?
Well, I think that it's going to be. You're right. There will be a bounce. Was there a bounce after the Republican convention?
Yeah, he had a. Yeah.
There was?
Yeah, don't you remember that? It must have been a small road bump, a speed bump, and you don't remember that one.
I don't remember that one. But I mean, suffice to say, there's always somewhat of a bounce. You know, if you believe polls, she's ahead or either tied, and the bounce will increase that probably beyond the margin of error, okay? And so the question you ask is, how do you keep that? I think that the debate on September the 10th is going to be very important, where Trump has been personalizing this, calling her names, and what did she say? Say it to my face. Okay, you got to make sure you understand. It was very diplomatic the way she said it, but you got to make sure you understand what the intent was behind it. Say it to my face. And it's going to be interesting whether or not he's going to be able to say it to her face, all of the stuff he's been saying. You got to understand, here, some people have called her, what do they call her? A DEI queen? How racist. I mean, the fact is, this woman is very accomplished. District attorney, state attorney, U.S. senator, and vice president, and someone wants to call her, the people are calling her a DEI queen. All right, that's racist at its very core. And so for people that are doing that, they need to think twice about what they're saying, and they really should apologize for that. But the fact is, I think that the debate will either continue to propel the trend line that we're seeing, or depending upon how Trump acts, I shouldn't say acts, how he performs, I shouldn't say how he performs, how he comes out, will, you know, level it out and smooth it off, and it'll tighten up again.
How much is riding on the debate?
I think that the debate is part and parcel of, it has to be part and parcel of overall strategy, okay?
What do you mean by that?
I don't think that is going to be the determinative factor. I think from her standpoint, it helps propel the momentum that she is experiencing right now. And in terms of Trump, I think it helps stop her momentum in terms of getting his campaign back on track. It's no great secret that he's reeling right now. When you think about this, here we are at the Democratic convention. We've experienced the Republican convention. We have 1, 2 former presidents that are going to be on that stage endorsing Kamala Harris. How many did you have at the Republican convention? 0. Why? Because they dislike Donald Trump. There's no congeniality whatsoever between Trump and former Republican presidents. Why isn't George Bush a good man? But he was governor when I was governor in the state there. He's not there, Okay, I ain't going on. So there's no congeniality whatsoever amongst a Republican former president, and when you look at on the Democratic side, you see the congeniality.
Let me stick with the debate just for a moment, because that's the first scheduled thing that's going to be non-scripted for her. Everything else has been, friendly territory, friendly audience, and she's going to go in this face-to-face. You don't think that could be a
No.
determining factor as far as which way polls go, which way enthusiasm goes?
I think that it'll be part and parcel. Yes. And what I'm saying is, if she has a lousy debate, then it's gonna hurt her. Okay, but she won't though. She won't. I mean, again, this woman is accomplished. She's very used to dealing with facts. As a former prosecutor myself, we had to present the facts to the jury. We couldn't be all over the place because someone would object to it and say, "Judge, I object." Irrelevant. The judge would sustain their objection and say, "Stick to the facts." If Trump is held to the facts, it's going to be a very interesting debate, and I think she will do quite well.
What else are you watching for this week?
Well, in terms of Texas, let's talk Texas for a second. The question is how do the delegates here in Texas leave here? We'll be pumped up. We'll be, as we have been in other conventions. The question is, how will that look on the ground once we get back?
Can it translate?
I think it will translate. And in part, it goes back to the question you just asked about Kamala Harris. People are excited about her in Texas too. And then the suburban women in Texas, and you can help me with this, Jason. How do they feel about abortion? How are suburban women feeling about abortion in Texas? Are they okay with the laws as they are? Or do they want their rights back? Do they want their freedom back? And if they want their freedom back, you can be assured that they're going to be voting Democratic. Okay, now the question is whether they vote Democrat for president and vice president and then split their ticket. All right, so will they vote their interests? And if they do, will they vote Democrat all the way or split their ticket?
What do you think?
What am I hoping?
No, what are you hoping, I guess?
I'm hoping that they will vote Democratic all the way.
down?
Yeah, I mean, because what you begin to see is this. Cullen Allred is running a very shrewd race. There's some people that will say that he hadn't been paying attention to his base. Well, he shouldn't right now. And what do I mean by that? Let me make certain I'm clear about that. When I ran for U.S. Senate, what I wanted to do was to make certain I got out to places where people didn't know me so they could become familiar with me and I could earn their support. That's exactly what he's doing. And then come back home to the base towards the end and make certain that I galvanize the base. And that's what I see him doing right now.
What else can you think of you'd like to add or point out?
Well, I think that it's going to be important in terms of some of the House races. The Senate is pretty much already baked, okay? I don't see any real changes in that at all in terms of the partisan makeup. But in the House, Governor Abbott has already said that he has, his number one agenda is going to be school choice. And there'll be those of us that will oppose it, just based on policy reasons. And to the extent that we win House races and can block that effort, then we can stop it. To the extent that we can't, then he'll get what he wants. And then the other dynamics ends up being the relationship between the Speaker and the Lieutenant Governor. And so that's...
there hasn't been one in the past.
Well, based on what has occurred, there may not be one this session either. That's why we may very well end up being there the whole summer. So yes, I may not be home during the summer. I may very well be in Austin. But wherever I need to be, I'm going to be there.
Let me get back to the primary. So based on the Republican primary and the losses there, you don't think there are enough votes to get school choice passed in the House?
I think there's some Republican House seats that may very well be up for grabs.
Okay.
Okay, I mean seriously up for grabs.
With the incumbents or with the new challengers in there?
With the new challengers in there.
Okay.